Hello, guys. Welcome back to the second part of our most expected series. Sorry for the intrusion yesterday. If my audio and video is clear, can you please drop a yes or a response in the chat box and then we can start. So, hello, guys. Can you please drop a response in the chat box so we can start? Okay, guys, please drop a response in the chat box and then we can start actually. So, until and unless you guys respond or increase the views, we cannot start, all right? So, just to avoid wasting time, please share it with your friends and so that they can come and watch because it is a really important session. So, okay, anyways, uh, so let us start with the first question. Okay, let people join and let us start with the first question. So, share it among all the JRF aspirants because it is really an important session and we don't want you all to miss it. It is easily available and you won't get questions like this mostly. So let's begin. So hello guys, so I am Purbita Ma'am and I am currently pursuing my masters in IARI New Delhi and the division of the Soil Science and Agricultural Chemistry. And today I'll be dealing with the rest of the questions that we could not do in yesterday's session. So those of you who had joined yesterday's session and those of you who hadn't watched it, please go give it a watch. Okay. So our first question was where we had ended. It was the different reagents along with their nutrient contents. Reagents along with their nutrient contents. So each one of you had answered option number D, but I was explaining that why will we use all these reagents for analyzing this many. Yes, okay, so Mangala is finally present. So why we are using Wakle and black and all these other reagents, we are going to read that. So for Wakle and black, we generally use chromic acid, that is H2SO4 plus K2Cr2O7. Okay. So this is actually, this will react with the organic carbon and it will convert the organic carbon to carbon dioxide. And whatever part has been oxidized has been left unoxidized by this chromic acid mixture. We are going to titrate it against ferrous ammonium sulfate and we are going to give diphenylamine as the indicator for Wakle and black. So here always keep in mind that we will have oxidizable organic carbon, okay, not the entire one but only the oxidizable one. Okay. Now, Subia and Asija method, we know that it is available nitrogen for Subia and Asija. And we had learnt in yesterday's class that it will measure the ammoniacal nitrogen content, ammoniacal as well as organic ammoniacal nitrogen, okay, nitrate one. So, whatever nitrogen is mineralizable or available, we measure it with the help of Subia and Asija. Then for the Olsen's reagent, so can you tell me the formula for the Olsen's reagent? Can you tell me the formula for Olsen's reagent? So Olsen's reagent is what? 0.5 molar NaHCO3, right? Sodium bicarbonate 0.5 molar at a pH of 8.5. At a pH of 8.5, so we generally use it for determination of available phosphorus in alkaline soils. Okay. And for the neutral normal ammonium acetate, this method was given by Hanway and Hiddle. Hanway and Hiddle. And with the help of this method, we measure our available phosphorus in the soil. Okay, so the correct answer is option number D. Moving to the next question, NDVI is 0, which denotes. So, what is the formula of NDVI? So, it is nothing but normalized difference vegetation index, right? Normalized difference vegetation index. So, the formula is R minus NIR by R plus NIR. So, we measure the near infrared and the red edge. So, what will be the answer for this question? So, more NDVI means reflectance will be more. Okay. So, the answer is option number A. That is 0 will be denoted by barren land because here there is no vegetative cover, and NDVI 1 which is maximum. Okay, it will denote dense healthy vegetation. So, NDVI 1 will denote dense healthy vegetation. It has more reflectance. Coming to the next question, the main limitations of the genetic system. So, this question we had already, okay, so similar kind of question we had covered, okay, in our previous class, and we had learned that this is correct, okay, concepts and definitions of highest category, that is order, is given in terms of property, these are not clear. So, this genetic system I had previously mentioned, it was given by Dokuchev. The genetic system of classification was given by Dokuchev, and this nomenclature was not evolved from English language. because Dokuchev was a Russian scientist. Okay, he was a Russian scientist, but later on the American system of soil classification was given by Marbut, and we call it as the morphogenetic classification system of Marbut. So, what will be the correct answer for this question? It is option number A. So, only this A and B, these are the limitations, but this is not a limitation. Even though there is the Russian language present in the naming of the genetic orders and the suborders, we still use, or they had still used that system of classification, and it was not a major barrier. So, only A and B will be the limitations, not C. Coming to the next question. So, this is again an assertion reason type of question. Bench terraces are constructed along the slope of the hills to accelerate runoff. So, in case of bench terracing, what is the percentage of slope? It is from 16 to 33%. Okay. And in the region where there is high rainfall, for high rainfall region, it is inward sloping. Inward sloping bench terraces are there, and for low rainfall region, outward sloping bench terraces are there. So, one is inward and the other is outward. Okay. So, bench terraces are constructed along the slope of the hills to accelerate runoff. So, it is a kind of mechanical measure, and we adopt mechanical measures for slopes greater than 2%. Because the slope of our land here is greater than 2%, we are assuming a mechanical measure, so it cannot increase or accelerate the runoff, it will decrease the runoff. And they help in uniform distribution of the soil moisture and irrigation water, and also control soil erosion. So, this statement is correct, but A is not correct. So, option number D will be our correct answer. A is not correct, but R is correct. Okay. Next, the difference between the lower plastic limit and the upper plastic limit of soil consistency. So, we all know that this consistency series was given by Atterberg. Okay. So, Atterberg gave his consistency series. Yes, okay, Vangala is writing option number D. Very good. It is plasticity index. So, why? Now, Atterberg gave his soil consistency limits, and we have hard or harsh, then friable, then plastic, hard, then soft is there, friable, plastic, sticky consistency, viscous consistency. So, in many books, soft or friable is written together, in many books it is written separately. So, whenever we have this plastic limit of our soil, we have two indices. One is upper plastic limit and the other is lower plastic limit. The upper plastic limit is also called as our liquid limit, right? Liquid limit. And our lower plastic limit is called as just the plastic limit. So, the difference in between this upper plastic limit and lower plastic limit will give you the plasticity index of a particular soil. So, that is correct. And we generally measure the upper plastic limit with the help of an apparatus which is called Casagrande's apparatus, right? Casagrande's apparatus. We measure it with the help of Casagrande's apparatus, our upper plastic limit. Next. So, it will be option number D. Next, what is the unit of thermal diffusivity? So, first we have to learn what is the formula of thermal diffusivity. Thermal diffusivity is thermal conductivity divided by specific heat capacity, right? Specific heat capacity. So, we can easily denote the thermal conductivity to be K from Fourier's equation. We will assume Fourier's equation of heat flow, and we will derive or assume the thermal conductivity to be K. So, it is nothing but we can say calorie per centimeter square per second per degree centigrade. This is the overall unit of thermal conductivity, and for the specific heat capacity we have calorie per centimeter cube, suppose, okay, per degree centigrade we can also write that. So, what will be the answer? So, from there what will be the answer for the thermal diffusivity? It is option number B, centimeter square per second is the unit of thermal diffusivity. Okay. So option number B is our correct answer. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. So, okay, let me first explain what is Fourier's law. So, Fourier's law, we can write that Q by AT is equal to K, which is the thermal conductivity, into the temperature difference divided by D. D is the displacement. So, here actually it will not be centimeter square, it will just be centimeter. Okay. So, how are we deriving this? This Q, we can write it as calories. So, we can write calories divided by centimeter square into second. This K we have here. This T we are writing it as degree centigrade and this D is centimeter. So, from there we can easily find out what will be our unit. This centimeter square and centimeter gets cancelled and then we have calorie per centimeter per second per degree centigrade. So, this will be our overall unit for thermal conductivity. Okay, and from here if you equate this, then you will get centimeter square per second to be the unit of diffusivity. Very important. So, for any form of diffusivity, whether it is gaseous diffusivity, whether it is thermal diffusivity, formula is same, conductivity divided by specific heat capacity. Now, lowest is deposited by wind and its dominant particle size is. So, we had read that this is one of the, where the wind is one of the weathering agents and the dominant part of lowest is silt, and if it were sand then it would have been aeolian. Okay, aeolian if it were sand. Good morning ma'am, I have a doubt of pharmacy student. I cannot help you with that. I do not belong from that background, Lalit. Yes, so I cannot help you with that. Okay, so option number B is the correct answer. Now, coming to the next question. So, this is again an assertion reason kind of question. Soil erodibility can be assessed using indices like dispersion ratio, clay ratio, erosion ratio and surface aggregation ratio. So, what is soil erodibility? So, tell me what is soil erodibility, whether it is a function of soil or rain. Soil erodibility is a function of soil or rain. Whenever we have the term erodibility, it will be the function of soil. And whenever we have the term erosivity, that will be the function of the agent. Agent refers to the rainwater or whatever kind of weathering agent you have in hand. So, it is true that we use all these ratios or indices like dispersion ratio, clay ratio, erosion ratio, okay, to measure the aggregation. Yes, let's see whether or not it is option number A. These indices are based on relative proportions of soil separates, good, aggregate stability and soil moisture characteristics. So, this is true. Okay, this is true. So, option number A will be our correct answer. Here, I had mentioned the different formulas for all these ratios and it is very, very important. Very, very important. So, you will get it in indirect analysis of soil structure, analysis of aggregates in soil structure. Okay, so this is very important. It has been given in TD Biswas. Okay, now coming to the next question, which is correct subordinate distinction within master horizons and layers? So we know that we have how many master horizons? Can you guys comment? We have how many master horizons? A, B. So we generally have 9. Okay, 9 different kinds of horizons. This L, M and W people tend to forget. Okay, L is for the limnic material. Okay, L is for the limnic material, 1 is for the root limiting zone and the other is for the geotextile fibers and all that. So, we are here concerned with only the subordinate distinction. Is there a common paper for all subjects or different for different? it is different. The paper is different for different subjects, ICAR PG, and this class is basically on physical science. ICAR PG physical science. For every subject, you have a different paper. Okay, Lalit. Okay, so this I will tend to alluvial accumulation of organic matter, whether or not this is true. Alluvial accumulation of organic matter, whether or not this is true. MA is cementations or indurations. G is strong lying. A is highly decomposed organic matter. So, whenever there is I, it will be slightly decomposed organic matter. Okay, slightly decomposed organic matter is referred by I, and E is referred to as intermediately decomposed organic matter. Intermediately decomposed organic matter is E. So, what will be the correct answer? So, I can give paper specifically for a yes, you can. Just go and search once, okay, whether or not that will be appropriate for you, because you are saying that you are a pharmacy student, right? Or you can sit for other exams like GATE that specifically are related to the tech field. Okay, so you have to go and search. Okay, so coming back to the question, G is strong laying, okay, MA is cementation or induration. So wherever there will be option number A, we are going to eliminate that. So what will be the correct answer, guys? Okay, so C and D only. So what does MA means? What does MA means? What does MA means? MA means marl. Okay, it refers to marl. And G is strong laying. It is fine. Okay, no problem. So option number D is the correct answer. Here I had mentioned that in old IEEE you have this entire table for different subordinate horizons. Please go and consult that. Very, very important table. Okay. Coming to the next question. So, you have to match the nutrients along with their important functions. Very easy question. Nitrogen, then phosphorus, sulfur. So, everybody knows. Yes, good. Everybody knows that sulfur is directly linked to the oil quality, and it is specifically due to the presence of one enzyme. Can anybody tell me the name of that enzyme? It is beta glucosidase. Okay, that will regulate the oil quality in case of different crops. So, in case of oilseed crops specifically. So, C will go with option number 3, and we are only having one option. Okay, so yes, Vangala, you are right. Option B is the correct answer. Where are the others? Why aren't they answering anything? Okay, only Vangala is the active participant here. So, okay, yeah, B. B is the correct answer. Next, DEH. So, what does EH means? EH means redox potential. EH means redox potential. So, the redox potential of a well aerated soil, it generally ranges from plus 400 to plus 700 millivolt. Okay. Okay, so, okay. Now, whenever we have a redox potential, whenever it is positive, that means strongly oxidizing conditions or reducing conditions, guys. Whenever redox potential is positive, we have oxidizing conditions or reducing conditions. Comment in the chat box. Oxidizing or reducing? So, whenever it is positive, we will have oxidizing conditions. So, it is true. Well aerated soil means enough oxygen is present. EH of waterlogged soil may decrease to around plus 250 to minus 300 millivolt. This is very true. Yes, this is very true. And mostly after 12 weeks of submergence, our waterlogged soil will assume this stable value, that is minus 200 to minus 300 millivolt. It will be the stable range of redox potential after about 12 weeks of submergence. Yes, so option number A will be the correct answer for this question. Next, the definition, soil is a loose and friable material, was given by. So, you have to read the definitions, that which scientist gave what definition. So, tell me what will be the answer to this question. Yes, it is option number B. Option number B will be the answer. So Bachman and Brady denoted soil to be what? Bachman and Brady denoted soil to be what? So Bachman and Brady, they denoted soil to be a dynamic natural body. Dynamic natural body. So this dynamic term in this entire definition is very important. So you can remember this is associated with Bachman and Brady. Okay. Next, Dokuchev, he defined soil to be a natural body. A natural body. And Jenny, on the other hand, defined soil to be a naturally occurring body. Naturally occurring body. So in this way, you can remember the definitions as well as who gave or which scientist gave the definitions. Very, very important. Okay. Okay. Next. The thermosphere will extend from about 60 kilometer, 80 kilometer to 1600 above the surface of the earth. I have applied GATB, okay, IIT, JAM, CVT, PG. Okay. So it will extend from 80 to 1600 kilometer above the surface of the earth. So we know that the other name of thermosphere is, comment in the chat box, what is the other name of thermosphere? And the temperature in thermosphere will decrease with altitude, no? The name only suggests that thermosphere means there will be an increase in temperature with altitude. So this statement is wrong, but the first statement is true. Okay, so statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. So option number C will be our correct answer. So what is the other name of thermosphere? It is also called as ionosphere. Okay, and which sphere has the least temperature? It is mesosphere. Mesosphere is coldest. Okay, coldest zone. Yes, it is called ionosphere, and mesosphere is the coldest zone. So you can also remember that in thermosphere the International Space Station is present. The northern lights that you see, aurora borealis and aurora australis, all they come from thermosphere due to ionizing radiations that are present over there. Okay. Now the next question, what are the factors affecting DDL? So this is again a very important question. DDL is diffused double layer theory. So concentration of total electrolyte, will it affect the DDL? Obviously, ma'am, it will affect the DDL. How? With increase in electrolytic concentration, the DDL thickness, okay, it will decrease. So, the more you put electrolyte, the less will be the thickness of DDL. So, this is true. Valence of counter ion, again it is inversely proportional. The more your counter ion has charge or valency, the less will be your DDL thickness. Dielectric constant, yes, again this is true. With increase in dielectric constant, the DDL will increase and absolute temperature also. So, all of these factors will influence the DDL. Yes, all of these factors will influence the DDL. You are correct, Vangala. And another thing I wanted to mention that we have the first DDL model that was given by Helmholtz, right? So, this is a limitation of the Helmholtz model that he could not state that what is the effect of all these factors. He only stated that what is the effect of dielectric constant. But the rest three he could not state, and that's why the Guy Chapman, the Stern's double layer model all came into existence, because he could not prove that. Next, the epipedon that resembles molic epipedon in all the features except in the limit of acid soluble phosphates or the length of period of moisture availability is. So, this is again taken directly from your old IEEES. So, please comment. Acid soluble phosphates it is saying. Okay, acid soluble phosphates. So, okay, Vishnu is saying A, but I do not think that it will be A. Okay, because if it were base saturation, then A would have been your correct answer. Okay, then A would have been your correct answer. So, ambric epipedon has lower base saturation than that of molic. Histic is moisture will be available for greater than 30 days or greater than 90 days period. Anthropic epipedon and plagans. You have to think your answer. Yes, in between these two. So, let's see. Okay, so it is option number C, anthropic. Now, why? In case of anthropic epipedon, this is man-made. Anthropic is man-made. And plagen, on the other hand, it is human modified. So questions might come like that. And in case of plagen epipedon, we have artifacts. Okay, artifacts are present in plagen epipedon. So these are some of the keywords that you should remember about each and every epipedon. And this acid soluble phosphate, it is a criteria. Citric acid soluble phosphate is a criteria for anthropic epipedon. Now, because you are fertilizing your soil, so while fertilization you are applying phosphorus, so obviously the phosphate will be citrate soluble. Got it? Next, the process of eluviation of oxides of iron and aluminium. So here these are sesquioxides. Okay, sesquioxides. So this is eluviating along with humus and carbonates from the upper horizon, and their accumulation in the subsurface horizon is called. Again, a very, very important question from your different soil forming processes. So whenever sesquioxides are leached down along with several basic cations as well as humus, what is left? What is left? Silica is left. Okay, silica is left. So answers had already started coming. So whenever silica is left, it will be podzolization. If it were reversed, if silica would have leached down and sesquioxides remained, then it would have been laterization. So what is the other name of podzolization? Comment in the chat box. Podzolization is also called what? So let me explain the calcification and decalcification. So wherever there will be the accumulation of calcium carbonate due to increased temperature and less partial pressure of carbon dioxide, it is calcification. For the decalcification, it is just the reverse of calcification. Now, who can tell me what is the other name of podzolization? Yes, another name, Mangala. Acid hydrolysis one we got. Acid hydrolysis one we got. We can also call it as silication, right? And we can also call it as decalcification or negative of calcification. Why? Because calcium carbonate, it is getting leached down. Okay. Similarly, laterization is called alkali hydrolysis. So very important, the processes of podzolization and laterization, very, very important. You must remember all the soil forming processes. Okay. Okay. Next, the composition of soil air is similar to atmospheric air, except that it contains more carbon dioxide and less oxygen. So obviously this is a correct statement, because in case of soil air, the carbon dioxide concentration is approximately 10 times that of atmosphere. Okay, it is approximately 0.25%, and in our atmosphere it is 0.03%, and nowadays it is 0.04% due to global warming. But whatever, it is approximately 10 times. In soil air, it is about this, and which is several times higher. So this is a correct statement again. Both 1 and 2 are correct. And why? Why is it this? Because of respiration activities and different biological activities going on in our soil. It will have a higher content of carbon dioxide. So yes, both the statements are correct. Next, what is the relationship between pH and EH? So this is again a very, very important question. So pH means your negative logarithm of activity of H plus ion, and EH means our redox potential. Okay, EH will refer to our redox potential. So what will be the relationship between the pH and EH? So again we can judge it with the help of Nernst equation. E0 minus RT ln, you can write here reduced species by oxidized species into H plus RT by NF. Okay. So you can write this. And from this equation you can get the value of the relationship between EH and pH. So whenever we compute in standard form, this RT by NF we assume to be 0.0591. Okay, 0.0591, and there is E0, and there is ln reduced by oxidized, and 1 by ln H is present. Okay, so whenever I am writing 0.059, it will not be ln, it will be log. Okay, it has been converted into log. So 1 by log H plus means, 1 by log H plus means nothing but pH. So it is E0 minus 0.0591. Okay, so EH is equal to E0 minus 0.0591. It will be pH, but it will be positive. Okay, because the log H plus is present here on this side at the bottom. Okay, and there is a minus sign here. So when we reverse it, it will be positive. So from this, what comes, that it is EH plus 0.059 pH is constant. Okay, so this is again a very, very important MCQ. You should remember how it came as well. Okay, how it came as well. Next question. Okay, so question number 52. Soil surface cover with residues help to lower soil temperature. This is a correct statement. Why? Because mulching is there. We do mulching to do what? Reduce soil temperature. We use vegetation, do afforestation to reduce the soil temperature. Comment the answer in the chat box, guys. Residue cover will decrease the albedo and it will allow more direct heating of the soil surface. That is completely a wrong statement, because albedo will increase. It will increase the albedo. Albedo is what? Whatever is reflected by whatever is absorbed, right? Reflected by absorbed, and that too in case of short wave radiation. So if the albedo is more, that means reflection will be more, absorption will be less. So it is option number C. A is correct, but R is not correct. Okay. Next. Okay, so this match the following, it is not there. Okay, so we are just going to omit that. Come to this question. Fertilizer Quality Control Organization. So it is located where? Fertilizer Quality Control Organization is located where? Comment, guys. So yes, so it is located in Faridabad. Direct statement question now. We have Fertilizer Control Order. Came in which year? Fertilizer Control Order came in which year? And we have another organization, that is Fertilizer Association of India. Fertilizer Association of India. So Fertilizer Control Order came in which year? I want to see the comments. And Fertilizer Association of, yes, it came in 1985. Okay, 1985 it came. And before Fertilizer Control Order, okay, 85 or 87. Okay, now I am getting confused. 85 or 87, I want the correct answer. Okay, from you guys. Now, before the Fertilizer Control Order, there was another act which is called as Essential Commodities Act. And within that Essential Commodities Act, the fertilizer was included as an essential commodity. Okay, fertilizer was included as an essential commodity because there was no separate organization for the fertilizer control. 1957 fertilizer control order did not come. Okay, it came later on. Before that, in 1957, there was no such organization handling that of the fertilizers. Now, Fertilizer Association of India, it is another organization and that publishes a journal called Fertilizer Statistics. Fertilizer Statistics. This is an important MCQ, okay? Who publishes the fertilizer statistics? That is for FAI. Okay. Now, coming to the next question, the zircon and topaz. These are the examples of. Zircon and topaz are examples of. So, this is the silicate structures. And we know that silicate structures is neso, soro, cyclo, iono, philo, tecto, right? So zircon and topaz will come under which silicates? They comment in the chat box, guys. They will come under which silicates? So they will come under nesosilicates or orthosilicates, same, or island silicates are also the names. So these are, yes, option number D will be the correct answer. So for the zircon and topaz, can anybody tell me what is the formula for nesosilicates? It is SiO4 4 minus. So no oxygen has been shared with the neighboring tetrahedra. So you have to also remember what is the formula of each and every silicate. Okay. Okay. Which is not a criteria of quality of irrigation. So this question again came from quality of irrigation water. So will you judge the nutrient index of irrigation water? No, I guess not. Will you judge the salt index? Yes. But that is true for fertilizer. So can you tell me who gave the nutrient index and the soil index? Comment in the chat box. Then the EC and SAR. Okay, EC and SAR. EC is what? It is electrical conductivity. And SAR is what? Sodium adsorption ratio. Okay. Okay, somebody is saying D, somebody is saying, okay, somebody is saying B. Okay. So who gave the nutrient index? The nutrient index was given by Parker. And the salt index was given by Puri. Okay. Parker and Puri. So let's see what is the correct answer. It is option number B. Nutrient index is not considered as a criterion, but we can consider salt index. So this has been given in your treatise book directly. You can go and access it from there. Okay, another salt index Puri. Okay, good. Now another thing I wanted to just clarify, that this EC, that is electrical conductivity, it is exclusively for water. But whenever we talk about SAR or the sodium adsorption ratio, soil will come into action. So SAR means there is an adsorbing complex. So in water there is no exchange complex to adsorb the sodium, but in case of soil there is. So whenever these two terms are written, always keep in mind that SAR means we are judging the soil quality as well along with the water. But whenever it is EC or electrical conductivity, we will measure it in water only. Okay. Okay, now coming to the next question. Bacillus, Pseudomonas and Paracoccus bacteria are. This is again a very easy question. Comment, guys. So let's see. What are aerobic? Can only survive with oxygen. Do not require oxygen. Facultative anaerobes means that they are originally aerobic, but they can shift to anaerobic conditions when whenever there is an absence of a substrate. Okay, facultative anaerobic. Then facultative aerobic means they will be originally anaerobic in nature. They will be originally anaerobic in nature. So what? Let's see. So C is the correct answer. You have to also remember the microorganisms along with the different charts. Yes, all of you are right. Microorganisms along with what is their mode of respiration and whether or not they are autotrophs or heterotrophs. Okay, that chart you have to remember. Very important. Next, graded bunding is recommended in areas receiving rainfall of more than 800 millimeter per year. So for the graded bunding, what is the slope? It is 2 to 10% land slope is there. Bunding is suitable only for lands having slopes less than 1%. Less than 1%. So whether or not it is correct. I had already mentioned that for graded bunding it is 2 to 10%. And again, for mechanical measures, bunding is a form of mechanical measure. So for mechanical, the basic criterion is you have to have a slope of greater than 2%. Okay. But whenever we are taking agronomic conditions or agronomic measures, so for agronomic measures, we can have slopes that is less than 2%, but whenever we will apply the mechanical measure, the slope has to be greater than 2%. So, statement 2 is not correct. Okay, statement 2 is not correct. So, yes, 2 to 10% will be your slope, just as I mentioned. And another thing, for the zinc terracing, the slope should be from 3 to 10%. So, you should be very clear with the percentage of slopes. Yes, option number C will be the correct answer. Next, proper irrigation scheduling helps optimize crop production and it will prevent the negative effects of over or under irrigation. So, this is very true, and irrigation scheduling is generally done with the help of tensiometer. Okay. So, if you do the proper irrigation scheduling, your water use efficiency will increase, and it is based on scientific understanding of it will be soil, water, plant and atmosphere relationships to and adapts to water availability conditions. So, what will be the answer, guys? Very easy question. It will be option number A, because both the statements are true and it correctly explains the above one. So, why is it C is correct? It is based on scientific understanding and adapts to water. This is supposed to be true, right? Okay. Now, cloud responsible for continuous precipitation. So, again a question from agricultural meteorology. Cloud responsible for continuous precipitation is. So, what will be the answer according to you guys? What will be? So, cirrus clouds are like this. Okay. Cumulus clouds are just small patches of clouds. Okay. Altocumulus means they will be located at a medial distance. Okay, so along with the clouds, you also have to remember the height. Yes, nimbostratus is the cloud that has a huge vertical extent. So it will just move from a higher layer of troposphere. Suppose this is troposphere. Suppose it should have a very high vertical stretch. So for the clouds having a high vertical stretch, they will be very prone to precipitation. So, A will be the correct answer. Okay. So, here the explanation is provided. It is also called as rain cloud. So, these are our batches, and if you want to boost your preparation to a top-notch level, then you can subscribe. And here we have already provided a huge discount for you guys because JRF is knocking at the door. So, please do. Cumulonimbus is also vertical. Yes. Now, when the annual rainfall is less than the normal for prolonged period over an area, it is considered as. So, this is, we are saying that annual rainfall is less than the normal. So, what kind of a drought will it be? Types of drought, it is very important for your exam. What types of drought? Okay. So, because this is an atmospheric phenomenon, it is supposed to be meteorological drought. Agricultural drought will be when there is a deficiency in soil moisture percentage. Permanent drought will be in the areas that receive their mean annual rainfall is less. Mean annual rainfall is less than the mean annual evapotranspiration. Okay. And for the hydrological drought, this will be related to surface water bodies. Whenever their water level will decrease. Okay. Now coming to the next question. Statement 1 is, we have two types of statement based questions. The US Soil Conservation Service classifies land into 8 classes based on capability or limitations. So, it is again this land capability classification. So, can you comment that who gave this land capability classification? Who gave the land capability classification? It was actually proposed by United States Department of Agriculture by Klinkbell and Montgomery. Okay. And this is true that we have 8 classes. So, for land capability classification, we will have 8 classes. From class 1 to 4, it will be suitable. Okay. and from not suitable, it is arable, you can say arable, and from 5 to the rest 8 it is non-arable classification. Okay. Now, if we move into the land irrigability classification, then for irrigability there are 6 classes. So, please do not confuse between irrigability and capability classification. We have 8 and 6 classes respectively. So, these 8 classes are divided into 3 major groups. No, these are divided into 2 major groups. So, statement 1 will be true, but statement 2 is incorrect. So, option number C is the correct answer. No, both the statement 1 and 2 are incorrect. Okay, it is saying that soil conservation service. Okay, let's see. It is option number C only, Bangala. US Soil Conservation Service, I think it is one of the part of this USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, and that's why. Okay. So, 3 major groups, it is the major wrong statement, but that is statement number 1 is true. Okay. Now, coming to the next question. Air capacity of the soil, also called non-capillary porosity. So, can you comment who gave this term non-capillary porosity? Is the volume of pore space filled with air at 50 millibar tension. Millibar tension, it is mentioned. It corresponds to the pores of 0.06 millimeter or larger. So, it is referring to macropores. That is true. Non-capillary porosity is related to macropores. But yes, Khonke gave the air non-capillary porosity term, very good. But will it be 50 millibar tension? Will it be 50 millibar tension? What is it supposed to be? Instead of 50 millibar, this is incorrect statement. Okay, incorrect statement. So, it is not 50 millibar. Okay, so this is not A, this is not supposed to be A. This is supposed to be millimeter or centimeter. Tell me guys, millimeter or centimeter? Whenever your soil moisture is at a tension of 50 millimeter or centimeter of water column, tell me. It is not supposed to be 50 millibar. That is wrong. Where are the comments? Yes, so it is supposed to be 50 millimeter, not 50 millibar. Okay. 1 bar is equal to 1023 centimeter I am writing. So, 1 millibar will be what? 1.023 centimeter I can easily write. Okay. So, 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeter. So, these are just the conversion units. So, from here you can see that 50 millibar is not the correct answer. It should be 50 millimeter of tension. So, please do not confuse that. It is not option A. It is option number C, I guess. Okay, now A is not correct, R is correct. Okay, so suppose I will just eliminate it. Option number D, A is not correct, but R is correct. Okay. So, I am writing here option number D. Okay. Now, come to the next statement. According to land capability classification, the soils that are not suitable for crop production belongs to. Okay. Okay, Anurag, thanks. Okay. So, according to land capability classification, the soils which are not suitable for crop production. So, I had already mentioned that from 1 to 4, yes, option number C will be the correct answer because from 1 to 4, it will be arable, suitable for classification, and from 5 to 8, it is non. Okay. Next. So, okay, you also have to read about the different colors of the different classes of land. Okay, colors along with the classes. Yes, option number C is the correct answer. Very easy. Now, geographic information system, it is used for planning tool for environmental studies, natural resource management and environmental monitoring. So again, all the options will be correct. Very easy question. Geographic information system will actually help you to locate a particular point present in ground with reference to that of space. Okay, so it will help in spatial recognition of a particular point, and then it will overlay it along with the attributes of that particular area, and that is how you are going to get the information about a particular object. Okay, so here it is given, you can read it according to your time. Next, saline sodic soil has. So this question is a PYQ that came in 2024. Saline sodic soil has. So tell me what will be the answer. So whenever it is saline sodic, that means salinity is also there. So EC will be greater. ESP will also be great. So both EC and ESP will be higher. So ESP is more than 15. pH is again more than 8 point, EC is again less than 4 decisiemens per meter. No, it should be more than 4 decisiemens per meter. The correct option is not present. EC should be more than 4 decisiemens per meter, not less, okay. It should be more. ESP is also more and the pH is also more. So generally, when we see our treatise book, this is mentioned that the pH is less than 8.5, but it varies. It will be more than 8.5 only. No, A is also not correct because it is written 15 here, and the minimum criteria for ESP should be, 13 here. The minimum criteria of ESP should be 15. So this option number D, I am just converting these options from less to more. So then it will be the correct option. That is, pH is more than 8.5. Okay, please do not forget it. And another PYQ that came in 2025 suggested that for the alkaline soil, the pH range is from 8.5 to 10. So this has been given in DKD. We all know that for alkaline soil, the pH is greater than 8.5, but two options came. One is greater than 8.5 and the other is this range. So NTA marked this to be the correct answer because this is given in DKD. But truly speaking, alkali soil can have pH more than 10. Okay, so this A will not be the correct answer, D, because it should be 15, not 13. Okay. Okay, coming to the next statement. Deep percolation is the downward flux of water below the maximum root zone depth, and it is considered as an unavoidable loss following irrigation. So, deep percolation means what? The water will move beyond the root zone depth. That is true. Under transient unsaturated conditions, deep percolation can be estimated by the water balance method instead of the instantaneous profile method. So tell me, what do you think about the statements? Tell me, what do you think about these statements? Okay, Bangala has written option number. No, that is for the previous question, I believe. Comment guys quickly, what do you think will be the answer to this? Okay, C. Okay, so what do you think will be the correction in statement number 2? What do you think will be the correction in statement number 2? That also comment. What do you think? So let's see if you guys are correct or not, okay? Yes, option number C. And it is estimated by the instantaneous profile method only, not by the water balance method. Okay, not by the water balance method. And this was all again given by Hillel. Okay, Hillel is the father of soil physics. No, it is unsaturated only. It is not saturated, but it is not measured with the help of water balance. It is measured by instantaneous field method or profile method only. Okay. Next, the capacity of soils to be molded, that is to change shape in response to stress and preserve that shape when the stress is removed, is termed as, very, very easy question. What is that? You are molding your soils and it is retaining your shape. So that is nothing but plasticity. And soils with greater than 15% sodium, they will exhibit plasticity. Okay. It is not stickiness. Who is writing stickiness? Okay. So again, if your soil has greater than 25% clay content, then it will be unsuitable for roadbed formation. Unsuitable for roadbed formation. Okay. So these are some of the things you have to remember along with the coal values. Coal values of montmorillonite and vertisols. Coal values of montmorillonite and vertisols also you have to remember along with this. Very important. Both. Okay. Yes, option number A will be the correct answer. Not C, not D, nothing. Okay. Next, in crop rotation, the land is changed every year and crops are grown on new land. That is not crop rotation. That is land rotation. It should be land rotation. Crop rotation means same piece of land you are rotating your crop. It will increase soil erosion and reduce soil fertility. Both the statements are incorrect. That means option number B will be our correct answer. Okay. Easy guys. Easy, very easy. Next, which is not a property of urea. So it is organic amide form CONH2 whole twice. Fine. Acid forming fertilizer. Yes. What is the equivalent acidity of urea? Comment. What is the equivalent acidity of urea? Comment. This is acid forming fertilizer. Critical relative humidity is also 72, but it is not a low analysis fertilizer. It is a high analysis fertilizer because the nutrient content is greater than 46%, primary nutrient content, right? Okay, yes, very good. It is 80. It is 80. Very good. And which of the following fertilizers has an acid equivalent of 60? 60 is for which fertilizer? That also you have to comment. So, ABC will be the correct answer. ABC will be the correct answer. Okay. Not option number D. Clear? Got it? So, which of the following fertilizers has 60? It is ammonium nitrate. Okay. Always read the different acid equivalents of the different fertilizers mentioned. Now, lateritic soils are rich in bases and primary silicate minerals and remain soft even after drying. Lateritic soils will become very hard after drying. So, from here another concept comes, that what is the difference between lateritic soils and laterites. Lateritic soils and laterites. Okay. For the lateritic soil, the base saturation percentage will be low or high. For the lateritic ones, the base saturation will be high, that is greater than 40%. And for true laterites, it is less than 40%. The true laterites will belong to oxysols, highly weathered soils. But the lateritic soils will belong to altisols, a bit lesser weathering than that of true laterite. So, this is the difference between lateritic soil and laterite soils. Yes. Okay. Now, they will not become soft after drying. They will be very hard after drying, and that is why this laterite term was taken from brick. Brick will be very hard after drying, right? And it was first described by Buchanan as a highly ferruginous vesicular unstratified material found in the Malabar hills of South India. This is true. But the statement 1 is not correct. So, statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. Option number D will be our correct answer. Now, here again one term comes, that is lessivage. Lessivage means clay migration. It was given by which scientist? It was given by Dachafor. Sorry. Okay, lessivage clay migration given by Dachafor. So, who gave what terms? Please do remember. It comes in the examination. Okay. So, this is option number 2. Next, very easy. Match the scientists with whatever they did. So, Jenny and Overstreet, what did they do? Stevenson. So, whenever we see the word Stevenson, we associate it with humus. So Stevenson's polyphenol theory. Okay. Ramamurthy was a scientist who gave the targeted yield concept. Okay, option number C. Okay, let's see. So Ramamurthy gave the targeted yield concept. No, option number C will not be the correct answer because C is 2 and only one option has that. That is option number A. Okay. But no, again B is 1 over here. Okay, again B is 1 over here. Because I think there is some mistake with the options. B is 1. Okay, so let's solve it. So Ramamurthy, he gave the targeted yield concept, and this targeted yield concept is also called as prescription approach. Prescription approach. So this was initially propounded by Tro, and later on Ramamurthy converted this prescription approach of the soil into the targeted yield concept based on different relative yields of different crops. Munsell gave the soil color chart that we all know, Munsell soil color chart containing hue, value and chroma, and Jenny and Overstreet gave the cation dipole linkage. Okay, root CC, they are related to root CC. So A will be option number 3. There is a bit discrepancy in the options. So A will be option number 3 and B will be option number 1. That will be your answer. Okay. A will be option number 3, B will be option number 1. Got it, guys? Everybody, this question? Okay, coming to the next one. Slow release nitrogenous fertilizers are credited to Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Okay. Crown root initiation stage is attributed to Bhardwaj. This is again a very uh, easy question. The crown root initiation stage generally happens 21 days after sowing of wheat. Okay, this is a critical irrigating stage of wheat. Happens 21 days after sowing of wheat. 21 days after sowing of wheat. So option number A will be our correct answer. Okay, so here it is written. Whatever you can just read. Okay. Coming to the next question. Sorry, I showed you the answer. Depth of water required by a crop during its life cycle. It is called delta. Okay. Now, what is base period? Base period is the initial period during which your crop will need irrigation. Cubic is cubic second, you can say. We are measuring the rate of flow of water or a fluid. Okay. Not CC. Okay. And then we have duty. So delta and duty, these are the two terms. Very confusing, but you should remember what these are. So delta is the depth that is required. Depth of water that is required. Okay. Okay. Next. Rice originated in India. Tea originated in Africa. So this has been directly taken from the centers of origin. And the centers of origin were given by Vavilov. You all have read agricultural heritage, I suppose, in your first semester. Okay, let's see. So, rice originated in Southeast Asia and tea originated in China. Okay, so both are false. Good. Next. Which among the following fertilizer contain nutrients other than primary nutrients? So, which among the following will contain nutrients other than primary nutrients? So, DAP means what? So, we are asking about which will contain nutrients other than primary nutrients. Yes. So, primary means NPK and secondary means CAMGS. Both are macronutrients, but one is primary, that is required in higher quantities or they are more direct in action, and CAMGS are required in relatively smaller quantities. So, whichever will have sulfur. So, it is option number B, ammonium sulfate. Now, tell me, what is the percentage of sulfur in ammonium sulfate? So, for DAP, we generally have 184660. This is N, this is P2O5 and this is K2O. For the ammonium chloride, we have 33 to 34%, okay, of nitrogen. Then for urea, we have 46% nitrogen. So, what is the percentage of sulfur in Yes, it is 24%, and the nitrogen is 20.6% or 21% for ammonium sulfate. Okay. Next, in saturated flow, hydraulic conductivity is constant because all the pores are filled with water and the pore water geometry will remain similar if the pore structure is rigid. So, okay. So, in case of, yes, you all are correct. In case of saturated flow, the hydraulic conductivity is constant. So, saturated flow is also called steady state flow. Steady state flow, right? And Darcy actually devised his equation in saturated sandy soils only. In unsaturated flow, it is independent of the soil water content and soil water suction. No, in unsaturated flow, it cannot be independent. It is dependent on the soil water suction, it is dependent on the pore geometry, and that is why later on an equation by Buckingham came that it should be dependent on the metric potential. So, this metric potential term, it was given by Richards, and Buckingham said that it should be dependent on the entire volumetric water content, but Richards said that no, it can also depend on the metric potential. So, because of that only the unsaturated flow, later on Darcy's law was modified. So, statement 2 is incorrect, but statement 1 is correct. So, option number C will be our correct answer. Got it, guys? Okay. Next question. Boron content in borax. Boron content in borax. So, it is not given in percentages. You can easily transform your value to percentages. So, it is 11%. Okay. 11% boron in borax. Okay. Now, so guys, this will be the end of our session, and we will again resume after 15 minutes. We will start with the rest of the questions and we will complete 120 questions. Okay. So, please be with me. I want even more number of viewers so that you can actually judge what your competition is out there. Okay. So, we will resume after 15 minutes again in the next session where we will deal with the rest of the questions. So, thank you. And if you like this session, please do join the next one as well. Okay.